Hello everyone, welcome again to the channel. Today I'm going to continue with the topic of parasexuality or transcendental sexuality. I already made two previous videos about this particular topic, so this is somehow more advanced. I will post the link to the previous video, so if you're interested you can go back to that and start from the beginning. So this article, we're not going to discuss the basics, we are just going to continue where we left the last time. So this is some kind of a way to put in priorities the different sexual practices and what is our goal. So currently a lot of people in humanity are practicing different kinds of sexuality, and this is where they stand as far as energy levels. Sexual degeneration, negative energy. Ordinary sexuality, of course, is negative energy because there is nothing special about it. It leads to nothing positive in the point of view of sexuality. No fab, like we discussed, it has its place in society. It has some benefits for people, but it doesn't produce anything special. Also, it just kind of some kind of starting point for people to stop being victims of their own sexuality, and probably if they decide to do it, they can move into higher levels. Then we mentioned semen retention. With semen retention alone, it has very little benefits, not very considerable when we compare it with the benefits we can reach with sexual magic. But anyway, it's much better than what the regular people can do. So this is already, a big advantage, a big accomplishment for someone who is practicing like this. So we are going to talk more now about sexual magic and what is it about. So to put things clear, sexual magic or alchemy can be practiced only between men and women, and it will imply the thing that there needs to be some sexual desire between the couple, and there needs to be some love. Love is necessary for the basic fact that this is some kind of magical, let's say, spiritual practice. So love is needed and fidelity is needed. So this is recommended for committed couples, either married or someone who decide to have a lifetime relationship with a woman and man. This is the prerequisites. So if someone who is single tries to practice this with a woman for a few months or a few years, and then will change to a different couple later, there are different consequences to this. Some of them say that basically whatever work this person was doing is destroyed and he needs to start again. There's even the possibility that some negative energy will be formed as a consequence of this. It's speculated that even some demonic energies can be created this way. So that's the speculation. I wouldn't recommend doing this if you're not in a long-term committed relationship, but it's up to you to decide what you're going to do. So let's talk more about how this actually works, because for some people some things need to be like more clear to specify how it works. So why is this called alchemy? The reason why this is called alchemy is for a very simple reason, and is basically allegorical. It's trying to use some old references to alchemy, which is somehow connected, vaguely connected to chemistry. So how all this symbology was used to represent the sexual act. So what it means is that when a man and a woman get together and they are having sex, intercourse, man inserts his penis inside the woman's vagina, to put it more exactly, more concrete. There is sexual desire generated as part of the intercourse. And this sexual desire, this sexual energy is producing some kind of heat or energy, fire. That's why they were using this kind of symbol for this. And this is heating up the liquid that we have inside our body. In the case of men, this energy is the semen. That's where it's stored. So in the semen we have this primordial matter, and this primordial matter with the sexual energy, which is the fire, will start to produce some sublimation of the energy. So the nature of this original matter, which is completely material, physical, will start to transform, and it will do some kind of process similar to distillation. So it will do some kind of purification of the energies and will become transformed into something else. This is why it's called transmutation, because it will transfer the original matter and it will transform it and create something completely different. So this is the basic context, and this is the basic concept of alchemy. This is how it works. And because of this basic principle, that's why it's necessary to do semen retention. Like we mentioned before, if you remember, semen retention is necessary, but we need to go beyond just merely doing semen retention. So let's go back to the example of distillation. If you are not doing semen retention, there is no semen. So without the semen, without the liquid, you don't have the materials you need to start working on creating something better. So if you're constantly ejaculating, if you're constantly waiting your seed or your semen, to put it more bluntly, then you don't have anything to work with, So the more time you develop to the practice of avoiding the spilling of the semen, the spilling of your seed, that's when the semen will start to accumulate, and then you have more material to work with during the practice of sexual magic. So this is how it works. And all of this is related to the energies in the body, and the body has different centers of energy. So this is a representation from the Eastern traditions. These are the 7 chakras or 7 energetic areas, and these areas are somehow located in the spiritual part of the body. So it's not something physical, even though they have physical correlation to different centers. So all this starts with some ideas. They are using again symbols, and the symbol is that in the base of our anatomy we have the most basic of the chakras, and in this chakra is where we have the basic energy, and this energy is symbolized as a serpent. So this snake or serpent is going to climb the different chakras of our spirituality and will end up with the liberation of the consciousness. So as it goes up, it's going to awake more each of the chakras, each of the centers of consciousness. That's how it is represented. So we have the fuel here in the bottom, and the fuel is sexuality. The sexual energy is going to be the fuel for this transformation as the energy goes up to the different chakras. These are the names of the chakras according to the Eastern tradition, and the symbols are all in Sanskrit. They are all represented as Sanskrit letters, and they have different colors for each of them, which can be perceived during meditation. So there are different, let's say, allegories to this same principle. Basically, that's how it all relates to each other. So now, as far as semen retention goes, we're going to provide with some techniques that can help. So why do we need these techniques? The sexual intercourse, it has a lot of energy, and especially for men, he needs to have some self-control, self-mastery of himself. So he needs to be able to avoid spilling the semen. So what techniques will help? During the practice of the sexual act, he will have a lot of arousal, so he needs to kind of control this arousal, which is basically just energy. It's just energy in the body, and the way to control or master this energy is through breathing. So the breathing can help to calm down the arousal. So when the arousal starts to climb up, you should be able to self-assess your own level of arousal. So going from 0% arousal to 100% arousal, it is recommended that the arousal level during the course of the sexual magic practice should not go beyond 75%. So this is, of course, your own self-assessment of your own arousal, but it's recommended that you should kind of try to keep the arousal at a maximum of 75%. Why is this? Because if you go further than 75% arousal, probably when you reach 95% arousal, you're already too far, and you will probably end up with an ejaculation. So trying to avoid the ejaculation is the goal, because we want to do semen retention. So sometimes, we miscalculate and we go further than 75%. Let's give an example. To do this, then we can get the arousal level to go down through different techniques. One of them is breathing, deep breathing. When you do deep breathing, for example, during the sexual practice, you can pull out from the women's vagina and then do some breathing, and this will help to bring down the arousal level. If you do properly the breathing, you don't even need to pull out. You can continue to do the sexual intercourse, probably slower or something, but with the breathing, deep breathing, it will help to control also the rhythm of the heart. So it will bring down the rhythm of the heart, so this will bring down the arousal, and this can really help to kind of maintain. So going back again to the symbols, the arousal is the level of the fire, let's say. So if you put too much fire, then this will, let's say, liquid will boil out of control, and it will explode, and it will break everything that we are trying to build. And of course, if we spill the semen, we don't have any liquid to work with. So in the distillation process, you need the material, the basic material, the elementary material to work with. So if you don't have semen, you don't have anything to work with. So the longer you work, the more material you have, and the more fire you have, you are in more danger of, let's say, breaking the process that you're trying to accomplish, this transmutation. So this is somehow a help in trying to understand how all this works. But let's give an example that you reach a point where you went too far, you reach probably 95%, and you feel like the ejaculation is imminent. So what can you do in this way to prevent the ejaculation from happening? In this case, we have different options, but the most effective one is that you are going to apply some pressure in the body, especially in the area which is between the testicles and this part here. Right here you see this conduit, which is part of the urethra. So this is where is coming the prostate here, and here in the prostate we will have the semen stored. So if we apply some pressure here, with the fingers up, it will constrain this conduct. The urethra will be constrained, and the semen will not be spilled, and will also help to bring the arousal level down. But this is probably a case of emergency. In every case, we want to avoid reaching the point, let's say the point of no return. So we want to not reach that point, but if that's the case and you feel like you're already almost ejaculating, this is some kind of emergency procedure that will help you avoid ejaculation and continue doing semen retention. You will reach the orgasm, so an orgasm will come, and you will probably see a sudden decrease in sexual energy. So some of the sexual energy is lost during this process. It's somehow as if you put some water on your fire. So you put down the fire, but you retain the semen, so you can restart the fire later. Again, this is not the purpose. The purpose is to keep the fire going for as long as possible. So that's why we want to avoid the orgasm. Because the orgasm, what we'll do is we will put water into our fire, and we cannot continue doing the distillation, which is our goal. So that's how it works. You can also do some Kegel exercises. Kegel exercises are recommended for a lot of benefits, sexual benefits, including people helping with the prevention of premature ejaculation, people that have problems with erection. Kegel exercises will help you to have stronger erections, and they have a lot of benefits for sexual health. So that's another option. You can also practice some Kegel exercises, doing some breathing, and like an emergency, we can use this procedure that I just described, where you will apply pressure here in this part up, and the point is to try to block this conduit here, which is the urethra coming from the prostate, so that the semen will not be spilled. This is the main goal. So that's as far as the different techniques that will help with semen retention. We have a technique to prevent in a case of emergency, so we want to be able to retain the semen. But overall, what we want is to prevent the orgasm. Why do we want to prevent the orgasm? There is a very, let's say, practical reason for this. Like I said, in an allegorical way, when you have an orgasm, it's like putting water on your fire. And everyone who has ever had an orgasm will be, witness to this, that whenever you have the orgasm, the arousal goes to zero. So you cannot continue having sex, everything goes down. And even if you are able to retain your semen, which is better than not retaining it, of course, still you have some negative, let's say, negative effects. And the effect is that naturally this is an animal process, an animal reaction. When there is an orgasm, the man and the woman separate from each other. The man is no longer interested in the woman, and the, let's say, the magnetism between the two of them is over, it's destroyed. That's why when we want to practice alchemy, sexual magic, we can continue to have sex as long as we want. I mean, as long as men and women want to do it, want to continue to do it, they can stay as long as they want. And this is, of course, better because we are going to have the fire going for a longer time. We are going to have the distillation process, which is the transmutation, going for a longer time. And when we both decide, okay, we want to finish the practice, we finish the practice, but there was no semen ejaculation and there was no orgasm. So we can do this as many times as we want, and it will create this. The consequence of this will be that even after we finish the sexual act, we will still feel attracted to each other. It will enhance feelings of love, feelings of desire, feeling of attraction to each other. So this is going to be very positive, even like in a relationship level. So how are we going to do the transmutation? So the transmutation can be done through breathing. So we are going to do during the intercourse, we are going to do deep breathing, trying to maintain the arousal level within certain levels that will allow us to continue doing the practice as long as possible. And then we are going to use some mantras, which are some special words that we can use during the practice. We can even do meditation during the practice of the sexual act. We can use the imagination and creation. Imagination, creation, meditation is it can be seen as a cycle between them. You can use your imagination to create something. That's why it's called sexual magic, because you are creating something. And what are you creating? You are creating your own self, your own body. You can use imagination, trying to imagine how the fire of your lower chakra is going to climb up and illuminate all the other chakras, in the body, and increase and open the powers of each of these chakras. That's why you're using the imagination, because you have the imagination and the energy to make this thing that you are imagining to become positive and real. So that's why you are creating. You are using the imagination to create something. And this process becomes a meditation, so you can continue to do this to kind of for a long time. And let's go a little bit into the mantras that we can use during the practice. Also, the use of the mantras can help a lot to focus, to relax, to even maintain the arousal levels. And these are some of the mantras that I know. I'll recommend you these mantras. And it's your choice how you want to pronounce these mantras. They are usually pronounced in the way Latin letters are pronounced. For example, the first one is E, A, O. Second will be dis, das, dos. Third one will be INRI, ENRE, ONRO, UNRU, ANRA. The last one is all Sanskrit, but you pronounce it similar to Latin, which is Om, Hrim, Krim, Hum, Shrim. You can also choose to just pronounce Krim, which is the simplest way of doing it. Depending on your particular situation with your couple, if both want to practice the mantras, you can do it. If you can do it verbally, and in some cases, in some specific cases, for example, if your couple is not aware of this practice, you can still do it, but you can do it on this mind, on your mind. You can pronounce the mantras inside your mind, and your couple will not know that you're practicing these mantras. So that's up to every couple. You need to decide this between you and the two of you, how you're going to do it. I of course recommend that if you do it, the two of them, the two of you together, this is more pleasant, and it helps each of them. If you work together in the sexual magic, you can help each other. You can help to avoid, for example, an orgasm. You can avoid semen ejaculation because you have the cooperation of your partner. Again, I will go through some of the benefits of sexual alchemy, which I already mentioned in a previous video. One of them is rejuvenation and immortality. This was mentioned many times as the benefits of alchemy. So that's something that is fabulous and is spiritual in nature. It will have perfect physical health, fully awake consciousness, supernatural abilities. The supernatural abilities, if you're curious about what kind of abilities you can develop with these, you can do some research on the chakras, and basically as each of the chakras is awakened or stimulated by the sexual magic, these are the abilities, because each of the chakras has certain abilities, certain qualities. So that's how we'll become connected with each other. Like I say, it is magic because you are going to transform one of the basic matters that we have in our body, which is the semen, and we're going to transform it into something spiritual. That's where the magic comes. So you can use this magic for all kinds of purposes, from the most basic and human ones to spiritual ones. You can develop any kinds of benefits for your own. And of course, you can enjoy life and sex at its fullest, because to be honest, sex is amazing, and why not be able to enjoy sex as the most complete experience, instead of just trying to be limited by physical body. You can master your own physical body and really improve and reach higher levels of performance. Like I said, this will improve the relationship. You will have a stronger attraction, mutual desire, and fidelity will become part of this. The side effects of this, love will become stronger and deeper. There is a side effect that is called magnetism. So as you practice more and more the sexual magic, you will come to attract also material success. People will be attracted to you, and they will offer you opportunities to create higher success, material success, including, of course, money or everything else. So I think it's really good, and something that a lot of people might be interested. So that's all I wanted to say now, and if you're interested in this, or you have any questions or comments, let me know in the comment sections of the video. And as always, I ask you to please like the video, share it in social media, subscribe to the channel. I hope to see you again very soon. Thank you for watching.